What's up, everybody? My name is Morgan Clement. I am a digital artist and designer based in Los Angeles. And I promised that I was going to film myself working more often and post process videos. The piece that I am going to be discussing here today is a new piece. It is, I don't know about the title yet. I'm filming this before I've actually finished the piece. But it's going to be somewhere along the lines of Horus, Horus, I don't know. Horus emerging from the papyrus reeds, something along those lines. I saw this really interesting photograph while scrolling through Instagram. I know that Instagram, its weird algorithm situation has been throwing everybody off. And I'm sure that my Instagram, if you were to see it, you'd be like, what is all of, what is the stuff that it's suggesting for you? So a lot of, I don't know where it started, but I get a lot of really interesting photos of Black people in particular that come across my feed. And so I saw this photo of this like little boy. He's Moroccan, or at least that's what the caption said. He's Moroccan. Now the weird thing about this photo is that I could not find it anywhere else, right? Like I try and make sure that I give people, if I'm using a photo, you have to know who's in it, right? Like if I'm using a photo, I want you to know who the original artist was. And it's weird because when I put this photo into Google search, it did not come up anywhere else. I don't know where this person who posted the photo got it from. But it is supposedly a Moroccan child. He's got dark skin and curly black hair. He's got this like yellow headband on wrapped around his head. And I don't know, it's just a really cool photo. I just really wanted to do something with it. And so I started drawing it while I've been in quarantine, or I've been working from home this entire time prior to COVID, but since I've been in the house because of or more because of COVID, I've been taking the opportunity to like read a lot. And right now I'm really interested in Egyptian like philosophy and history and all this other kind of stuff. And so, though this boy is technically Moroccan, right, he still is representative of Northern Africa. And he had dark skin, right, like darker than even me. And so, sometimes I think that, I can't speak for all artists, but I think that we forget that how much power we have in terms of representation, right? We have all seen the way that Egypt has been whitewashed, right? As though white people come from Egypt. Even though if you look at present day Egypt, nothing about the climate there denotes that white people come from Egypt. Like no part of it. Like imagine having white skin and walking around without a shirt on in Egypt. Like it just is not, you would die. Like I don't know how you would do that. And yet we've been kind of sold that image that Egypt is at the very least very fair skinned, which is not true. And so I decided to create a bit of a narrative piece, something that I like to refer to as, and I think a lot of artists refer to their art as magic realism, right? Not quite surrealism, but magic realism, right? And so I decided to create a narrative piece, and somehow, I never know how to build symbolism into pieces. It kind of just comes to me when I'm working on it. For this piece, I decided to do it just kind of started out with adding a hand where this little boy is like looking at what will be a golden coin. And then from there, I wanted a bird of some sort sitting on top of his head. Now, I've always really loved peregrine falcons. Peregrine falcons look very much like the Egyptian god Horus. And so I was like, I'm going to put Horus, not the god representation that we see in Egyptian art, but this falcon sitting on top of this little boy's head. And that from there, I was like, why not add, more Egyptian god iconography and things like that, right? Because at the end of the day, what I would be able to do is to create more imagery of accurate imagery of dark-skinned Black Egyptian art, right? Or Egyptian figures. And so I put Horus on the little boy's head, and it is supposed to be symbolic of the little boy being Horus. Now, if you're familiar with Egyptian history and theology, Horus is the son of Osiris and Isis. I don't know if you're interested in all that stuff, but essentially what happened was his father was murdered by his brother, or his Horus's uncle, right? Set murdered Osiris and chopped up his body, and it's all kind of craziness. But Isis put Osiris back together. He impregnated her, and she gave birth to Horus, right? So Horus is the son of Osiris. Set obviously hated Osiris, so Set would hate his son Horus. To protect Horus from Set, this little boy was hidden away in papyrus reeds. And so I decided I'm going to add papyrus reeds, right? Like it started with a little like papyrus like twig thing sticking up out of his hair. I put one inside of the beak of the falcon that's on his head. And then I was like, well, why don't I just keep going? I started reading about the Egyptian god Hathor, who is usually depicted as a cow. And so I put a cow behind him. And then I was like, well, where are they? I created this kind of like fake layout that does not actually exist, but there's a mountain range in the back that is supposed to be Jebel Barkal, which is a sacred mountain range or cliff thing that is in Egypt, right? So as much iconography, as much symbolism as I possibly could get into this piece. And hopefully by the time I'm actually finished with it, I don't know, I'm still working on it as I'm speaking about it. Hopefully I'll have more symbolism to put in there. But yeah, I somehow came up with the narrative of depicting Horus emerging out of this protective environment that his mother put him in these papyrus reeds. So yeah, that's the piece. I don't really have much else to say about like current events. As I'm filming this, last night was the presidential debates. And wow, I don't even know. I feel like I've always used art as a form of escapism, of course. It's very easy to just, put the blinders on and focus on, whatever it is that is interesting and captivating to you at that point within art and drawing and things like that. And so it's been interesting going back and forth between whether or not I should be paying attention to the train wreck that is taking place or if I should just completely ignore it all and just like dive headfirst into, art and things like that. And so I don't know, I do at this point, as part of the self-care, art is not meant to be, in my mind, stressful. And so I don't aim to put myself in a position where it's like I am tearing it from my being, right? Like I have to force myself to sit down and do things. And so if I feel compelled to work on something, I work on it. If I don't feel compelled to work on something, I won't do it. You know, I think that productivity in this moment is not that big of a deal, right? Like, everybody's going through it right now. And so I don't want to be, you know, too hard on myself if I don't want to work on something. But for whatever reason right now, I feel a strong urge to work on this piece. And so, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what the next piece will be, because I'm excited to work within this genre and work within this area, because I would like to do more narrative pieces of this sort. But like I said, I can't find any more photographs that are even remotely similar to this one, and I want to stay on, you know, on brand with it. So we'll see. But I'm really excited about this one. Like I really like some, I don't know what it is. Like I know that sometimes it sounds weird when you hear an artist that is surprised by their own work as though they didn't do it, but like, I'm really just mesmerized by, you know, the hand and the little coin that I added. Obviously was not in the original photograph, but for whatever reason, there's so much visual emphasis between, you know, this little boy's eyes and this coin. I don't know what it is, but it's just mesmerizing. And so hopefully it works out in the end. And it looks really dope and conveys a really strong message. I don't know, like, is equally as captivating as it is as a sketch when it is a finished, like, actual digital piece. I've kind of been playing around with the idea of maybe doing like a sale of prints. Like, I've never done an official sale of prints, but I feel like I want to expand on this specific genre, and when I get done, maybe I'll do like a sale for like prints of this work or whatever. And then also I was considering starting a Patreon. So we'll see how all of those things develop. Just keep an eye out. I'm going to try and get a little bit better at regularly posting progress, right? Like regularly posting updates and process work and all that other kind of stuff. Last but not least, again, shameless plug. This is a business that I am starting. It is called Matin and More again. Matin is the French word for morning. And it's something I'm working on behind the scenes. Slow progress, you know. I don't really know how to run like a fashion business, but it's something that I've kind of always been mildly interested, especially with streetwear. It's always something that I've been interested in. So I just said, like, go for it. This is before coronavirus. Obviously, coronavirus has kind of impeded my progress, of course. But yeah, I'm still working on it, still putting energy into it. So if you don't see me working on illustrations and digital portraits and things like that, that's what I'm working on. And I will keep you guys posted on that as well. So thank you again for tuning in and watching this video and listening to me ramble about things that I care about that may not be all that interesting to you, but you really like my artwork, which is dope, and I love you just the same. And thank you for all the support, all the kind words. Y'all are awesome. And until next time, peace.